Hello, welcome back again to another episode of the ABC show. I'm your host Shaina and I welcome you all to the third episode of ABC. ABC means Ask BPS About Career. So, this is an initiative we had undertaken as a part of the larger vision to educate and aware our students regarding different career objectives and different career opportunities which they can pursue after their bachelor's and after their master's degree. So, there are also a lot of developments which are taking place related to education, related to technology. So, this is a vision that we had seen or we had developed, that how far the students from Assam and Northeast can take a career out of these recent developments, both in terms of education and both in terms of technology. Okay, so today I have actually taken the liberty uh, to offer you something very different, because today we are going to talk about career objectives or career opportunities which you can pursue under a global platform, which is the United Nations. So I'm pretty sure that most of you know what the UN system is or how the UN system works, but very few of you actually know what are the career objectives you can seek for, what are the career opportunities you can look for under the United Nations system. So the UN itself is a global platform and there is a lot of opportunities which you can secure. So we get a lot of questions like, ma'am, what do I do after my graduation or after my masters in political science, or if the person has masters in, let's say, law, or they have masters in economics or other related fields. So after that they do not see much of the career goals, what they have to do, how they have to approach a certain career. So all of them run after government jobs, we have seen. And we also know that the government jobs are very much limited. It cannot accommodate all of you. So why not seek a career outside the purview of government jobs? Why not go global in terms of opportunities or in terms of career, in terms of jobs? Okay, so that is why we had undertaken such an initiative to aware the students, and so that they can find proper opportunities in their path. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's talk about what the UN system is or how the UN system works. So in this particular slide we have seen that what the UN system is, or there is a particular tag which is given, join the UN workforce for global change. So you must have seen. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, you will see that there is a particular description of the United Nations, what the United Nations is, when it was established. So I'm pretty sure most of you know what the United Nations system is. So I do not need to explain it to you, but in the moving on to the next slide, we will move on and we will start discussing about what are the structures of the United Nations, because in order to find the jobs it is very important for you to understand the structures of the United Nations. So there are six principal organs. The six principal organs are the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, the Trusteeship Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. So I'm pretty sure most of you know. Okay, so apart from this principal organs, there are also some of the funds and programs. There are total six funds and programs like UNDP, which is United Nations Development Program, or UNEP, you can say, which is United Nations Environment Program. Then other than this, there are 15 other governing agencies, like which are FAO, which is FAO, then ILO, which is International Labour Organization, then there is IMF, International Monetary Fund, then there is WHO and UNESCO. I'm pretty sure you have heard about the names of UNESCO and WHO. Okay, so moving on, there are also 9 UN different boards and 9 different entities like UNAIDS and UNHCR. So UNHCR is United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. So anybody who has taken or who has the zeal to work particularly in sectors of human rights, they can definitely go and look for job opportunities under UNHCR. Then there are different boards which look after the refugee problems. So all these, there are different boards, and related there are lot of different organizations related to UN, like you can find a UNFCCC, which is United Nations Framework Conventions for Climate Change. So anybody who is working in the field of environment can also go and pursue a career in the United Nations. Okay, so you have to understand that UN does not post the job opportunities from the principal organs, but rather from the entities, from the different specialized agencies, and also from the different boards, because UN system itself is a global system, something that they're trying to achieve in a global nature. So the diversity of the opportunities that you will get, the diversity of the problems or other challenges you might face, there are a lot of differences in terms of diversity, in terms of opportunities, in terms of career. So you have to understand that whichever the line of study you have pursued, let's say you have pursued master's degree in political science, so then you have to understand which of the governing bodies will actually accommodate your study, which will actually give you proper opportunities. So likewise, any person or any student, whoever he is, if he has a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, let's say from humanities also or from science section also, so there are different entities or organs or different specialized agencies which are definitely working for overall development of the human world, and which can definitely accommodate your field of study. So do not think that if you're from the science background you cannot go and work in the United Nations. No, it is not that. Okay, so this is the type of information that I wanted to give you in this particular slide. So let's move on to what are the categories or the types of jobs in the United Nations. So the categories or type of jobs you can find, there are different categories, like there are professional category, there is a general category, then there is a consultant, there's a volunteer category, there's an internship category, and apart from this there are also other type of jobs, like you can find NPOs, which are national professional officer, then there are field officers, then there are senior appointees, and there are different categories and types of jobs the UN under the UN system. Okay, now there is a basic question that which of the above category will best suit the students from Northeast? Excuse me a little bit. Okay, which of the above category will best suit students from the Northeast? Okay, if you're a student, and I would say that if you are pursuing your master's degree, and if you're on your way to complete your master's degree, then I would definitely recommend you to either go for a professional category or the internship category, because this is the best thing you can go and find opportunities there after your master's. But if you're above 18 years of age, let's say, and if you have the zeal to work as a volunteer, if you want to volunteer for some international organizations and build your career in NGOs or in the social work sector, definitely you should go for UN volunteer program. And let's say you have completed your master's degree, and then you have also have a particular work experience in the related field, then definitely you should join the UN consultant, or you should become an NPO, which is National Professional Office. Okay, so these are the type of jobs which can accommodate students from the Northeast, and the students from the Northeast should particularly try to get a job or get a career in the United Nations, because this is a global platform and it will accommodate every one of us. Okay, now let's look at the what are the options in the professional category. Okay, the options in the professional category are different. As you can see in the next slide, there are three categories, which are YPP, which is called as Young Professional Program. Then there is a program called JPO, which is Junior Professional Officer. And also there is a third category, Special Position to Resident Coordinator. So let's look at what YPP is. In the next slide, you will definitely find some of the information related to YPP. So before explaining what is young professional program, I must say that anybody, any student from Assam and Northeast should definitely once in their lifetime should at least try to be part of the YPP program, because the YPP program is to employ students from underrepresented countries in the world, and they can get a chance to become a full-fledged UN member, and they can become a UN staff member, and they can get recruited as international civil servant. And since every year there is a recruitment which is open every year, and every year the selection of underrepresented countries are very very different. So you have to go through the website of the United Nations, which is UN Career, and there you will definitely find which of the countries are presently underrepresented, and where you can go and seek whether you are eligible to either seek a career in the YPP or not. But I must tell you one particular thing, that one basic information, that India is currently in the year 2003. India is not part of the this underrepresented countries, or maybe in the next year or so India will again come under the countries which are underrepresented categories. So in the upcoming year or so you can at least start your preparations to get admitted under the YPP program. Now, let's talk about what is the minimum eligibility criteria. So, talking about the minimum eligibility, you should at least have a bachelor's degree, and you should not be more than 32 years of age. Okay, and you also have to be fluent in English and plus one of the six official UN language. So, there are total six official UN language, which are Russian, French, there is Chinese, there is Arabic, there is Spanish. Okay, and then there is English. So apart from English, you have to be fluent in either of the six or either of the five UN official languages. And here there is a specific information I want to give to students who are preparing for the upcoming CUET exam, not 2023 but 2024. So there is a section called the language section, which is divided into language 1A and 1B. In language 1B, there are a lot of subjects which are related to languages. There you can find French, you can find German, you can find Russian. If any one of you have a vision to actually go and work global, if you want to pursue a career in the international work, definitely I would suggest all of you to at least select one of the subjects from the section 1B, because this will further help your boost in your career if you want to go and seek a career outside the country. Okay, let's move on to the application portal. What is the application portal? The application portal to program for the YPP will open every year. It opens every year during May or June, and the students can visit the websites, which is Inspira, or they can go through the Info Job Network and they can find detailed information about the YPP program. Now, what is the exam pattern? So, exam pattern will be divided into two parts, which will be part A and part B. So, part A will have some of the general questions, which will be regarding the foundational knowledge regarding the United Nations system. Let's say the questions might come: what is the United Nations? Why United Nations came into existence? Then there are questions which will be asked from the ethics section. Then there are questions that how to deal with a multicultural environment and different perspectives related to the general knowledge. And the section number 2, which is a specialized paper. So for the specialized paper, you have to remember that a specialization will always depend upon the vision of the United Nations, because every year United Nations changes its vision, changes its goal every year for upcoming years or so. Not every year, but upcoming years or so. So you have to always be updated with what UN is actually trying to do, what it is trying to achieve, in which countries they are actually focusing on which of the following countries, or which of the following realms, or which of the following fields. So you have to be very very much careful about those things. And also the topics may range from different, like it can range from economics to information technology as well. Now there is a question which comes to students mind, that how does one keep track of this complex syllabus, because United Nation itself is a huge thing. And what do we study in terms of this hugeness? How do we cover the syllabus? Well, it's very easy. You do not need to panic, because you need only to review the list of papers and the articles which will be uploaded in the career.un.org/YPP. So if you visit the site, you will get a lot of sample papers, you will get access to the testing platforms, you will get a lot of reading list also, and all the materials that it might help you in for the preparation of the exam for the YPP. And very importantly, you also have to follow United Nations in the social media, because they post a lot of information on Facebook and Twitter, and by following them through the social media, you will be able to find out what are the particular fields of work that they are currently focusing on. Okay, so I hope this will help in your preparation for the JPP. Now moving on to the next slide, we have the discussion on the JPO. Now what is JPO? JPO stands for Junior Professional Office Program. Okay, but it is an upgraded level of the YPP. Okay, it's similar to YPP. It is just an upgraded level, and you can become a fully fledged staff member of the UN system, and also you can become acclaimed as an international civil servant. But there is actually a catch to this. This program is a donor funded program. That is, there are certain countries every year. United Nations selects some of the donor countries which can actually which can prepare a list of the students from their own respective countries who can get selected as a JPO. Okay, so India currently is not on the list, but doesn't mean that Indian students cannot go and apply for the JPO program, because in the list of the donor countries there are some European countries like Netherlands, there is Italy, who actually fund or who actually sponsor students from the developing worlds belonging to Asia, Africa, and Latin America, who want to pursue their career as a JPO. So even if you're an Indian citizen, and even if India is not currently on the list of the donor countries, you can still become a JPO by visiting the websites of the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs in these respective countries, and you can find the detailed information regarding the JPO program. And related to the minimum eligibility, you can say the candidates actually ideally have to be a master's degree level and should have at least 2 years experience in the related field, and they also should have fluency in English and also in one of the 6 official UN languages. And if you have, let's say, masters in political science, if you have masters in economics, if you have masters in law, in gender studies, environmental affairs, then it's a very, very good opportunity for you. Even though the opportunity may seem very small, but it's a very great one. If you get a chance to become a JPO, then in the international level, I don't think any other organization will ever reject you in any field. Okay, now talking about how to apply. See, regarding applying for a JPO program, there are, since it is specifically funded by the donor countries, so the recruitment process is different depending upon the countries to countries. There are some countries which can only focus on the examination pattern, and some can focus on the screening process only. So depending upon the country from where you're applying, if you're an Indian citizen and if you're applying from the Netherlands, or if you're applying for sponsorship from Italy, then you can go on and visit their official website of the foreign ministry, and you can get a detailed information of the requirements that they are seeking from a candidate to be selected for the JPO program. Now, what are the qualities that UN actually looks for JPO or YPP? This is a special thing that I wanted to discuss with all of you. Now, talking about the qualities, see, UN itself is such a global thing, and that is why it always has a vision. It always has a vision which is very large in nature. So it will always want its candidates to adhere to its vision in terms of diversity, in terms of flexibility, and in terms of understanding the working conditions under a multicultural environment. You have to respect other cultures, you have to be sensitive towards other cultures, and then the students are also expected to have a very good analytical and decision making skills. And regarding the qualities of that a candidate has to possess in terms of the JPO or the YPP program, I believe Indian candidates are the best, because in India we already live in a multicultural society, and we actually know, we have the first hand experience of what a multicultural society is, what are the problems associated with it, how do we deal with it, how to stay unified in such a multicultural environment. So as Indians, we all have this experience. So I don't think as an Indian you will ever lack in the diversity or in the flexibility that the UN system is actually wanting from its candidates. Now, talking about the similarity and differences between the JPO and the YPP program. So I've already talked about that the JPO program is just an upgraded version of the YPP, but there is one similarity between the two, is that both these programs you can become a fully fledged UN staff member, and at least you will have to devote 2 years in one particular project or one particular assignment. But talking about the difference between the YPP and the JPO program, you have to remember that the JPO program, since it is funded by a donor country, it is a short-term program, and the YPP, which is Young Professional Program, it is a long-term program. So if you are an Indian student, if you're a student from specifically Northeast, I would suggest all of you to at least try for the YPP program, because this is a very, very great initiative in terms of career, in terms of opportunities, and in terms of exposure that you will get once you are inducted as a staff of the United Nations. Okay, now there is also another category in the professional which is called as a special position to resident coordinator. So after you get inducted to the JPP or the YPP program, or the JPO or the YPP program, then you can automatically you can move towards the special position to resident coordinator, because the coordinator, he is expected to run the entire UN development system at the country level. He is expected to coordinate the entire UN system at his own country level, at his own local level, or you can say at his own district level, or at his own state level. Okay, so he's a very, very big position in terms of responsibilities, in terms of career, and in terms of the challenges. So what are the requirements if you have to become a coordinator? So for this, you at least have to have a master's degree, and at least 5 years of experience is minimally required. And in experience domain, always for the coordinating positions, you must have experience in terms of development related fields, peace related fields. And I believe if once you are inducted to the JPP program, or the sorry, if you once you are inducted to the YPP program or the JPO program, you will automatically get access to the development programs and the peace programs which are offered under the UN system. So this will automatically make you qualify for the coordinator job. Now, in order to apply for this, there are openings which are roundabout every year. They give on openings, but in order to apply for this, you have to particularly go through some of the assessment centers, which is particularly offered by RCAC. So once you are inducted to the program of either JPO or YPP, you will automatically understand what RCAC works, or how the assessment centers work. These are specifically placed under different stations of the UN, and every station have their different requirements regarding the profile that they are seeking as a coordinator. Okay, now talking about the salary, this is my best portion, and I've been waiting to discuss about this. So salary, since every person wants to do a job because of salary, because even I also, if I also want to go and pursue a job, I also look for the salary. This is a basic thing that we all look for. Now most of you do not go and join these international organizations or the NGOs because you feel the salary is very low. Well, not because international organization like United Nations, a United Nations which is funded by European countries, which is funded by America, which is funded by countries all over the world. You can imagine, you can only imagine the level of salary they pay, because the level of professionalism, the level of integrity, the level of flexibility that they offer in terms of opportunities also, and in terms of jobs, and in terms of salary also. So talking about this, moving forward, in the next slide, you can see this term written tax free. Now, what is tax free in this sense? Well, your salary is tax free if you join the JPO program or the YPP program. Yes, your salary is tax free. You don't have to pay taxes for the salary. Isn't that very great? All of us are paying taxes, but you don't have to pay for it. Okay, now moving on to the salary section, let's discuss what is the salary that you can expect. So since the salary may range from depending upon the professionalism, there are different levels, let's say from P1 to P5. So P1, from P2, P3, P4, P5. These are the different levels of the professional category. So depending upon these levels, your salaries will vary. But still, I would like to give you one just an outline. The basic pay at the professional level you can expect is around 30,000 to, let's say, you can expect to 80,000 US dollar annually. This is what you can expect. But this is not the end. You will also get a post adjustment pay. Post adjustment pay, that means when you're allotted to a duty station outside your residence, you will need a lot of things to buy for. Let's say you might need a house to stay, you might need furnitures. Okay, so all these things, where the money will come from? This money will come from the post adjustment pay, which will be paid to you. But this post adjustment pay is just one time. The moment you join the program, the moment you are stationed at the duty, you will get this post adjustment pay and your basic pay. So roundabout in the year basis, let's say if your basic pay is 60,000 or 64,000, and if you get a post adjustment pay of around like 65%, that will totally change your entire salary for the year up to 108,000 US dollars or something. So that is a huge amount in terms of monetary, or in terms of opportunities that you can get, because you cannot imagine that level of salary that you've been paid to in this country or in anywhere. If you go in, and if you work in a private organizations, you cannot expect that level of salary. But yes, international organization like UN is actually paying its professional this much of salary. Okay, now let's moving on to the next slide, which we will be talking about the next job opportunity, which is for the internship category. Now, what is the intern? So interns are invited to UN to get a first-hand experience of what the United Systems or the United Nations system is, how the system works. So as a part of this intern, you will get chance to take part in the meetings, take part in the conferences, and you can also take up some of the assignments which are related to research related activities. Okay, so in order to be an intern, what is the minimum eligibility you need? So you have to have preferably a master's degree, but even though bachelors are also invited, but I would personally suggest you to at least have a master's degree, and also you must have a fluency in English and any one of the official UN languages. Now, what is the duration of internship? So duration of internship can last from 2 months to 6 months period of time. And regarding the salary, this is very important. You must know that salary will not be paid to you if you're an intern, because they do not pay salary to the interns. But there are specific agency or programs, let's say the International Labour Organization or the World Health Organization, they specifically pay some sort of salary to the interns. So if you're clearly wishing to pursue internship in the United Nations, other than ILO or WHO, you must be prepared that you are not going to get any salary. But still, what harm in just trying for 3 to 6 months, because this is a huge in terms of opportunity which will get. And once you get intern in the United Nations system, once you get to have a first hand experience knowledge of the global platform, something, an organization of a global nature, then I don't think in the future, if you pursue any other career, any other employer would not select you. They will not get any reason to not select you, because you are something that you have achieved, that it must have been a dream for a lot of students. Okay, now talking about how to apply for the internship, you can visit UN internship program or career.org, sorry, career.un.org/internship. So if you visit this site, you will definitely get all the related information regarding to internship. And you can see that there are a lot of openings in terms of internships in different funds and programs. So all around the year, you can find a different internship in the level of field of the study that you have studied your master's degree courses. So before applying for the internship, I would at least suggest you at least filter your job location and filter your type of job or the category of job you want to do based upon the study or based upon the discipline you have studied in your master's degree level. Now, let's move on to the next category, which is the volunteer group. You can see in the next slide, what is a volunteer group? So talking about the volunteers groups, you can see the UN itself is a global network, and it is working on a global nature. It has a lot of challenges also. So in order to meet every challenge, in order to meet its goal, it will require a lot of workforce. So it cannot employ a full-time workforce for such a huge time, okay, for such a huge network. So that is why it requires a lot of volunteers who can work for them, who can work on their behalf, and who can actually help the United Nations to foster its goal on a timely basis. Now, as a UN volunteer, if you have if you have the zeal to work as a volunteer, you can either work for United Nations inside living in your country locally, or you can also move to a different location, let's say outside the country, and you can also work as a UN volunteer. Now, talking about the minimum eligibility, what is the needed requirement? See, the age limit is you just have to be 18 years or above. Okay, and there isn't any typical profile as to what United Nations is seeking in terms of volunteering group, because every agency, every entity, every board has different requirements in terms of volunteership, in terms of the organization, in terms of the objectives that they are trying to achieve. So based upon your profile, based upon whatever the type of volunteering you want to choose, you can actually go and filter the type of volunteer that you want to volunteer for. Okay, so some of the organizations here may require experiences and some may not, so you have to be careful about this. And in order to apply for a voluntary program, you can visit the UNV Global Talent Pool via unified volunteering platform. You can create your profile there, and you can register yourself as a volunteer. And you can also visit unv.org, and you can find the list of volunteering jobs which are posted not only within the country but also outside the country. So their openings, I think, are published regularly on a very regular basis. So once you look through these websites, you will definitely find a lot of options in terms of volunteering. Now, what is the duration? Let's talk about the duration of the volunteering. So volunteers are usually recruited on a contract basis, and their contract may last up to 3 months, from 3 months to 6 months period of time. But yes, if you're an expert volunteer, if you've volunteered for a lot of period of time, if you have a lot of experiences, your contract can extend up to 4 years of term as well. Now, talking about the salary, there isn't any salary which will be granted to you as part of the volunteering program. But yes, unlike internship program, you will get a living allowance and also one time entry lump sum amount of money once you're inducted inside the program. So you can expect a living allowance and also one time lump sum of money. So somewhere or somehow you will be making money from the UN volunteering groups, unlike the internship programs. So this is what the volunteering groups or the volunteering category has to offer you. So I wish that students from Assam and Northeast, especially if you are performing or if you are having a master's degree course in, let's say, BSW or MSW, if you have your career goals regarding social work, if you want to pursue your goals in the social work network, then definitely you should at least try once in your lifetime to be part of the UN volunteer group. This will keep things perspective, and this will help you get access to a global platform and opportunities that you cannot even imagine living in just a small place. Okay, then you can at least access a lot of opportunities from living inside your own country. By working locally also, you can get access to a global platform. Now, talking about the general service category, which you can see in this slide. So general service category is not much relevant to us, but still I would like to discuss about it. So this category will basically include the administrative, the clerical, or the technical functions. This is basically related to the procedural or the operational activities which are performed under the UN systems. So you can say, for example, they require a security staff, they might require someone who can look after the printing, someone who can look after the operations of the building. So these are the requirements they need under the general service categories. So what is the minimum eligibility for this? You just need to be a high school graduate, and you just have to be above 18 years of age. And yes, fluency in English in this category is also a must requirement. But how to apply? Regarding applications for general service categories, you have to visit the nearest UN service or UN information center which is nearest to you, and there they will provide you the list of the services which the UN system actually currently is in place. Okay, for example, let's say you are living in Assam and there is a UN center near you, and one you go and inquire about it, and you say that there is a vacancy in let's say in state like Tripura, so they are working something related to the tribal women there. So there they might need someone as a security staff, they might need someone who might look after the operations of the building. So they will recommend you this, and once you have been recommended this job, they will take a screening test, they will give you the list of the tests that you need to apply for. And once you have applied for this, you can go to that service stations, you can go to that particular center, UN center, and you can start working as a head of the security, you can say, or just a security staff, or you can say just a staff who is looking after the operations of the building. So for this, you just need to be a high school graduate and nothing more than that. So you see, in terms of high school graduates also, the UN system is offering you jobs. Okay, so you should be very much able to access all this. Now let's say the next slide, as you can see, I'm specifically talking about the consultants. Now, what are consultants? What is the category of consultants? See, the consultants itself are an expert group. The expert group which the UN agencies, they hire for some sort of experts in the related fields. Okay, they are basically experts in the related fields, and they are usually hired for a short term period on a contract basis. So let's say if you are an expert, you have done a master's degree course and you are an expert in, let's say, public policy, or let's say you are an expert in governance, or expert in child psychology, or things like this. So a lot of UN entities, a lot of UN organizations or boards which are working for child support, which are working for human rights, which are working for public policies related to human rights or child support, they might hire you as an expert or consultant. Okay, and this consultant is just for a short period of time on a contract basis. Now, what is the minimum eligibility you need in order to be a consultant and work as a consultant in the UN system? For minimum eligibility, you just have to be a master's degree, and yes, you must have at least 5 years experience in a related field. So if you're a child psychologist who wants to further have a career in the UN system as a consultant, you must at least have 5 years experience dealing with the child psychology field. Now, how to apply for the position of the consultant? You can visit websites like Inspira, and you can create your own personal history profile, which is called as PHP, the personal history profile, where your entire profile, whatever the work, let's say it's kind of a CV which will be recorded in the system, and the UN agencies regularly, they look through these systems to find the consultants from this PHP. Okay, so if you have registered yourself, if you have registered your CV or your PHP in the system after going to the website called Inspira, and then there are a lot of UN agencies or a lot of UN boards which are working for the child support, and they might look through those PHPs, and if your job profile match with their requirements, they will immediately take you for considerations. So what is the duration? So this duration can range from 3 months to, let's say, up to 1 year also, and the job location can be anywhere. You might have you might be recruited locally also, and you might be recruited internationally also. Now, talking about the salary, so consultant salaries will differ according to the country they are posted in, because every country you are posted in, the salary will depend upon the PPP, which is purchasing power parity, and also the currency fluctuations against the US dollar. So still, I would like to tell you about the consultant fee. So talking about internationally, if you go and work as a consultant, you can expect at least 90,000 US dollar or something around like that. But if you're working in locally, let's say if you're working in a regional basis inside India, you can at least expect around 10 lakhs per annum. This is the kind of salary you can expect in this country if you are trying to work as a consultant under the UN system. So this is not at all bad. This is a very good opportunity. So if any one of you, if you have experience in the relevant fields, please at least try to register yourself as PHP in the Inspira, and then at least you can have a chance to get considerations for the consultant positions. Now, what are NPOs? Talking about NPOs. Now, NPOs, this is a type which is not this is not recruited internationally, but NPOs are national professional officers which are only recruited locally. That is, they are the local people or the local professionals which are recruited to perform some of the regional or the local functions. There are different agencies, like for example, say UNESCO, or let's say WHO. So in the previous years or so, you have witnessed that due to coronavirus, there was a lot of there are a lot of vaccines which were not available to us on time, or let's say there are a lot of emergencies in terms of hospitals. They could not accommodate a lot of people. So in times of crisis like this, there are a lot of WHO centers which are placed all around the globe. So what they do is they go there and they try to take NPOs or the professionals from the particular region. Let's say if the WHO has an office here and you are a medical officer, and you will be recruited as an NPO to work as part of the WHO program. They will not recruit someone from internationally. They will not bring anyone from the outside world and they will place here. They will simply take you. If you have the experience of a medical officer, you can work as a doctor as part of the WHO team. So this is called as NPO, which is National Professional Officer. So what is the eligibility that you need to in order to be accepted as an NPO? You at least should have a master's degree and at least should have experience in the relevant fields. Let's say if you're a medical officer, you at least need 5 to 10 years of experience in the related fields to be able to be recruited as an NPO. Now, the duration of work can consist from 6 months to 1 year period, 1 year period of time. This is uh, just an assumption, because depending upon the agency, depending upon the boards, the time of the duration may change. Now, how to apply? You can visit UN Career or Inspira, and then you can apply for the regular openings which are provided for the respective field. And regarding salary, you can expect the kind of salary which is being paid to a professional level staff member of the UN. You can expect a similar salary if you are going and joining as an NPO. So you can expect at least 60,000 US dollars to at least 80,000 US dollars annually. So you see, not only in terms of opportunities but in terms of monetary wise also, UN is offering you such a huge network of jobs and such a huge network of careers. So this is what I had to say in terms of the careers which you can pursue after your bachelor's or after your master's degree. You can at least try for one of these, because one of these, even if you get seat in one of these, this is like one time experience of your life, and this will be a groundbreaking experience for you in your career and in your life as well, because not everybody gets to work at a global level and experience the challenges at the global level. Not everybody gets to be the member of the of the United Nations staff. So once you get inducted inside the United Nations system, so anywhere you go, you can develop your job profile, and anywhere you go, whether you are seeking a job in the private sector as well, if you are going to do some of the business also, you will need all these experiences, and no, not any employer, I think, will not reject you if you have once at least tried to get inside the system, and if you have at least experienced what the system is trying to offer you. So this is what we had to offer today in terms of the in terms of the career perspective related to the United Nations. So in the coming sessions of the ABC, we will bring again another show which will be dedicated to another career objectives in a different field. So I hope you liked today's session. And if you have any queries, if you have any questions, please comment down below, because if you will comment us, then only we will know what are the things or what are the requirements of the students, what are the things that they want to know. So I would encourage all of you to please comment, please like, and please subscribe to our channel, because if you will like us, if you'll subscribe us, if you'll share us, then we will be even more motivated to bring more new such videos and help students from this underprivileged region to at least have a perspective in the career that they are trying to pursue. So till then, see you again in the another episode of the ABC show. So till then, take care and all the best for your career.